Is this the end of Ant-Man? That's the question I'm asking myself after seeing the second full official trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania that came out yesterday. Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Cosmic Culture, the channel where we talk all things major movie and television news, theories, breakdowns, and much, much more. I'm your host Chris, and I'm super excited for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which will be releasing very soon in February. We're a little over a month away from the first release of Phase 5, and I'm very excited with the overall fan base's reaction to what we saw in that trailer. Very much, it's time to believe that Kang is here. We saw many different shots of Kang, as well as shots of MODOK, different variants of Ant-Man, and of course the whole Ant-Man family, Hank Pym, Janet Van Dyne, Hope, and Cassie Lang. So we're going to dive into some aspects of that trailer, and we're going to focus on the question, is this the end of Ant-Man? Is he going to potentially die in this, his third movie? If you haven't already, consider subscribing and turning on that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the other major movie and television news updates happening daily here on the channel. You can also follow me on my other socials, Instagram at Chris M. Rosser and Twitter at TheCultureChris. Links to both of those can be found in the description down below. So, since that is the flagship question, does Ant-Man die in Ant-Man 3? I'd love for you to take a second to go down to the comment section and let me know what you think based off of what you've seen in the trailers so far. Give me your opinion, not the opinion you've heard on Twitter or from other people. What do you feel in your gut happens to Paul Rudd's Ant-Man in this, the third installment? And I have to say, and I'll answer the question right now, I'm feeling like, well, yes, that's kind of the vibe they're giving off, that this might be Ant-Man's farewell. Now, there are a lot of suitable replacements for Ant-Man, Wasp, Hope, and of course his daughter Cassie Lang, who will be playing Stinger or Stature in the Ant-Man and the Wasp trilogy finale. And there's a lot of room for that mantle to be passed on. So Ant-Man won't necessarily be gone per se, but Paul Rudd's Ant-Man, that might be the end of his character, and he's had a fantastic run. And here we are with a Avengers level movie, the introduction of the big bad of Phase 5, who beyond a variant of himself that showed up in Loki, we haven't been introduced to just yet. Now, there are a lot of questions surrounding Kang the Conqueror, and we're going to be getting some pretty big answers, some major answers, since of course he is played by Jonathan Majors. However, what exactly will it mean to us to see Kang? Well, here's a way we can kind of explain it. It doesn't matter if Ant-Man defeats Kang or not in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. This is an introduction to what he's capable of. And yes, we've seen in the trailers that there is a Kang in the quantum realm who has a massive army, a massive city, and lots of resources and technology. Not only is he powerful with the weapons that he's created, but in hand-to-hand combat as well, as we saw him absolutely take out Ant-Man and then kick in his mask to the point that the eyelids cracked. So very, very strong all the way around, and I think Jonathan Majors is going to play a very convincing big bad in the MCU. But as I mentioned, it's kind of irrelevant if Kang gets defeated in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Why? Well, this was explained to us by He Who Remains. There's just going to be another, and another, and another, and another. We know because of the end of Loki Season 1 that a version of Kang, a Kang variant, has already taken over the TVA. Which Kang that is exactly? That we haven't been made familiar with. The Kang in the quantum realm could very well be a different Kang than the Kang who took over the TVA. Or it could be the same Kang, and this very version of Kang will be the big bad that we're going to see in Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. However, because there are bound to be some twists and turns and some unseen plot changes, there's all the possibility and likelihood that Ant-Man could defeat this Kang. We see a really cool scene here that Ant-Man says, "I don't have to win, we just both have to lose," or something along that line.
I don't have to win. We both just have to lose.
And it's very clever, because it does make you think, well, what's going to happen to Ant-Man, and what's going to happen to Kang if they both do lose? Well, to that specific Kang, possibly death. But it doesn't matter, because there are more Kangs. More Kangs around the corner, more Kangs with more technology, more ideas, and very, very capable. History and universes have smiled brightly upon Jonathan Majors' Kang the Conqueror. A lot of opportunity is there for him to become powerful again and again across his different variants. So this is going to be a very formidable big bad. In fact, again, looking back to Loki Season 1, and we reference it because a lot of our understanding of A, the multiverse, and B, Kang, comes from what we learned in Loki. The part where he finds out that the TVA is using different versions of the Infinity Stones as paperweights and jewelry, and they're just sitting in drawers, Loki kind of looks around and asks himself, is this the most formidable force in the universe? And it's a very good question. And it really does put into perspective Thanos. Thanos could be easily defeated by Kang just simply by understanding that every single multiverse that Thanos existed in, Kang is in charge of and controls and rules. There are things about the multiverse that we still don't necessarily understand and haven't even been shown yet that Kang has completely taken over. Now, the opening of the multiverse, which He Who Remains allowed to happen when Sylvie stabbed him in the chest and killed him, is really what changes the MCU from Infinity War to the multiverse saga. Because you have to recall that previously all of the different multiverses were constantly and simultaneously being shut down by the TVA that was run by He Who Remains. Now that that's gone, we've seen things like Multiverse of Madness. We've seen different portals opening up. We've seen Loki and variants. All of these things have happened since the passing of He Who Remains, and that allowing the TVA to run rampant, be taken over by a different variant of Kang, and then ultimately allow for different branches to spiral into madness. This all leads to an incursion, which will later lead to Secret Wars. But we still have to get through Ant-Man and the Wasp, a new introduction to Kang the Conqueror, and the fate of Ant-Man. It is my personal belief and feeling that Ant-Man isn't going to make it out of this movie, and if he does, it'll be a very, very close call. Now, of course, a close call is more of a tease and more of a way to get people excited or scared for the end of Ant-Man, but I think after these 3 movies, of course, an appearance in Civil War and an appearance in Avengers Endgame, we can honestly say Ant-Man has done his duty as a character in the MCU. I would say I'm not necessarily ready for Ant-Man to go away. I'd love to see more of him. But if they can make a sacrifice valuable for the end of his character's line, then maybe that will create some very important stakes and give Kang the proper amount of value as a big bad that he's going to need to have on screen. And almost certainly, without question, if we do lose Ant-Man, it will be at the hands of Kang the Conqueror. But again, let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. Do you think that we will see the end of Ant-Man in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania? Thank you guys so much for watching till the very end of the video. If you found it helpful, useful, or entertaining, consider subscribing and turning on that notification bell. And I'll catch you guys all in the next one right here on Cosmic Culture.